Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel Govt Drish, where we cover the competitive exam related topics, and we have started a series that we have already said, and you can see that it's our Lucent series, that is of general knowledge. And we have already completed our Muslim empire and many such different religious practices related kingdoms, as well as different kingdoms of the whole India which was prevalent during the medieval period, ancient period. Many such has already been covered. If you want to go through that, please check our latest parts. So today is Lucent series part 23, where we will start our Maratha State and Maratha Confederacy that existed between the 1674 to 1720 and 1722 1818, as we can see here. So Maratha State, it was between this time period. Please go through that. And even the Shivaji's time period was very important, and it has been one of the most talked, as he was the prominent figure of the Maratha Empire. So now let's start with his background. He was born at Shivneri Fort. Okay, this was the place where he was born, and this was the time period. And what was his father's name? His father's name was Shaji Bhosle, and his mother name was Jija Bai. Very important. And even he had a religious teacher whose name was Samarth Ramdas. Okay. Now he had inherited, like he has taken the Jagir of Pune from his father. Like he got this Pune means Pune, present day. He got that as a Jagir from his father in this time period. Now what happened after the death of his guardian, Dadaji Konkadev, okay, in which year 1647 he was then got the full charge of his Jagir. Then he had conquered many forts, that is Singar, Kundana, then Rohindinchakan, Toran, Purandar. These names are quite important. You can see, you have to just look into that, because it may come in MCQs, or just for reference you need to go through that. Then Afzal Khan, he was deputy by he was deputed by Adil Shah. Who was Adil Shah? He was ruler of Bijapur, and he was deputed to punish Shivaji. But later what happened, that Afzal Khan, he was killed by Shivaji in 1659. So this was all about Afzal Khan. Now Shahist Khan, now he was the governor of Deccan, and he was deputed by Aurangzeb to put down the rising power of Shivaji. That was in 1660 time period. And then he got Pune as Jagir. Then he had lost that also, and he had suffered several defeats. Then what he did, he had made a bold attack, that was on Shaista Khan in this time period, and he had also plundered Surat this time period, and later Ahmednagar. So that was in a row. First Shaista Khan, then came Surat, and then came Ahmednagar. Now we have Raja Jai Singh, that he was from Amber. Then he was appointed by Aurangzeb to put down Shivaji. So this comes as a chronological order, like who ordered whom to put down, what series of events were going through. Now Jai Singh, what he did, he had also succeeded in besieging Shivaji. In which fort? In the fort of Purandar. So this is very important. Which fort did he succeed in besieging Shivaji? Then what a treaty will come, that was the Treaty of Purandar in the time period 1665, which is important. Like if the treaty is there, you have to know its year as well. The name and the date is very important. Now what was its essentials? It was signed according to which Shivaji had ceded some forts to the Mughals he had given away, and then he also paid a visit, that was to the Mughal court at Agra. Now what happened in 1674 was that he was coronated capital Raigad, and he had also assumed the title of Hindava Dharmodhar, which means protector of Hinduism. So this name can come, and what does it mean, or this can come, what does it mean in another language, or maybe it's Sanskrit. So this name is important. Now what happened after that, Shivaji, he had continued, he didn't rest enough. After even that treaty, he had continued his struggle, that was against the Mughals and Siddhis. Then he had conquered the Karnataka during 1677 to 1680. Then let's know about the administration during his reign. What he did, he had divided his territory, and he had also named his rule, that was Swaraj, and he divided into 3 provinces, and each was under a viceroy. You can see, which was under in charge of a official. Now it was then divided into prants, and then it was divided into parganas or tarafs. And the lowest unit was village, and it was headed by Patel, or you can say headman. So it's another name. Okay. Now, who had helped him? He had Ashtapradhan, means 8 ministers he had who had helped him. Like, this was his policy of administration, you can say. And he had a collective of minister, but there was no collective responsibility. They all were responsible to him, but not among them. So this here it has been divided about his Ashtapradhan, or you can say 8 ministers who used to help him, and they were responsible to him. First Peshwa, he was Mukhya Pradhan, and he was into finance and general administration, and he had later became the prime minister and assumed great importance. Mazumdar, it was revenue and finance. Wakmewais, that was home minister. The Bir, foreign. Surnavi, head of royal correspondence. Pandit Rao was head of religious affairs. Sari Naubat, he was military commander. Okay, Nyadish was justice. So these are his 8 important minister during his reign. Now what happened? Most of the administrative reforms were based on Malik Ambars, that was Ahmednagar reforms, not on general basis but on the basis of Ahmednagar. Now the assessment of land revenue, it was also based on measurements, and this Malik Ambar was adopted as the unit of measurement. Okay, so there was no coins. This was adopted as a unit of measurement, like we have now kg, gram. So that time it was used kati. Now land revenue was also fixed, that was 1/3 of 33% of the gross procedure, and 2/5, that is 40% of the gross produce, or initiality and after reforms. Okay. Now what was chauth? This is the meaning of chauth, that is 1/4. Another name will be 25%, that was the land revenue. It was paid to the Marathas, and they were not subject to Maratha rates. Then you have Sandesh Mukhi, he was also an additional tax, you can say, that was levied on those lands of Maharashtra where they had that hereditary rights, like yes, his son will get this land after his death, so that he had they used to levy more 10%. Now, but after that it had become part of the Mughal Empire, so they could not levy again. Now we have Sambhaji, he was the elder son of him, and he had defeated that Rajaram, and who was the younger son in the war of succession. So there was war of conquest of over succession, like who will get over the throne. So he had won, and he had also protection and supported Akbar II, who was the rebellious son of Aurangzeb. He was also captured at Sameshwar by a Mughal noble, and he was executed there and then. Then who was Rajaram? His time period was this, please remember. He had succeeded a throne, then with the help of ministers at Rajgarh. Then he had fled from there to Jinji. This was the time period because there was a Mughal invasion, in which Raja Akbar was captured along with Sambhaji's wife and son by the Mughals. So he had died at Satara, and which had become the capital after the fall of Jinji to Mughal. So when Jinji was given away to Mughal, Satara became the capital. He had also created new post of Pratinidhi, which means there were 8 ministers, which was taken to 9 ministers. Then you have Tarabai, he was also succeeded by his minor son, that was Shivaji II, and he was under the guardianship of mother. This was his mother. So she had also continued her struggle towards Mughals. Now Shahu, he was released by the Mughal Emperor Bahadur Shah, but as Tarabai's army was defeated by Shahu in the Battle of Kher, and so Satara's control went to Shahu. Now the southern part of the Maratha kingdom with its capital Kolhapur, they continued to be under the descendants of Raja Ram. Shahu's reign, they saw new Peshwas, transformation. It had now totally changed what was under the Shivaji's rule. Now let's know about the first Peshwa, that was Balaji Vishwanath, and how he had begun his career. He was first a small revenue official, and then he was given the title of Senakarta, that was maker of the army. By whom? By Shahu in 1708. Then he became the Peshwa in 1713, and then his post became very important and very powerful. He had also played very important role when Shahu was won over the Maratha Sardars. Okay, and then he had concluded with an agreement, that was the Sayyid brothers. Okay, in which had led the Farooq Siyar recognize Shahu as the king of Swarajya. So this was the end of some of the rulers which had existed. And next time we will, this was the Maratha Empire. Now in next video I will be talking about the Maratha Confederacy that was during 1720 to 1818. So this was all for today. If you have any such queries with any such words, lines, or any question related problems, you can comment down and we'll try to help you out. So take care, see you soon, meet in our next video.